If you've just installed your new Adventure King's 12-volt battery monitor, here's how easy it is to set it up and use it. Now, while you're on the home screen, you'll notice that by hitting the left side button, it'll change from a voltage readout to a battery capacity percentage readout. By holding that left-hand button down, you can change the mode from off to auto and vice versa. Now, generally you'll want it to be set to auto, which gives you your low voltage, high voltage, and overcurrent cutoffs. But if you're not going to use your 12-volt system and want to save some power, or you're doing any sort of troubleshooting or testing, you can turn it off completely. Right, so let's get into how to set up each individual setting on the automatic mode. First of all, you'll hit the right-hand button, configuration, which brings you into the menu. You'll now notice that the left and right buttons refer to enter and next. Enter obviously goes into the menu, and next will allow you to scroll down or scroll along a particular setting. So first, let's go into battery and then select the type, which in this case is AGM. Then you can choose the under voltage cutoff point, the recovery or reconnect voltage point, and the over voltage cutoff point. Scrolling down from there, you've got the battery size. Now in this setup, I'm using a 138 amp hour battery. I'm going to select 135 as it's the closest number that's under my battery capacity, so it's not going to overestimate my power. So now that you've set the battery and voltage settings, you can go to the next menu item by scrolling down to back, then scrolling down to monitor and hitting enter. The first menu item here is your mode, which does the same thing as long pressing the left-hand button on the home screen. It selects auto or off. After that, you've got current. Now that is your overcurrent cutoff, and it can be selected anywhere from 5 up to 100 amps. So if you want your system to shut down if it reaches 20 amps or higher, simply select 20 amps. Next is delay. Now delay can be set between 1 and 120 seconds, and that's the length of time that your unit needs to sense a low voltage, high voltage, or overcurrent situation to actually turn it off. So that means if you've got a momentary voltage spike or dip, it's not going to turn your system off. The default is 30 seconds, which means it'll take 30 seconds of an over voltage, under voltage, or overcurrent situation for it to turn off, and then 30 seconds for it to attempt to reconnect. Now with an under voltage or over voltage situation, this unit will automatically reconnect after a 30-second delay, assuming you've got it set on the auto mode. But if you get an overcurrent situation, it doesn't have an automatic reconnect. That's a built-in safety feature. So if your system has a short circuit somewhere, or you've got a device with an internal fault that's drawing excess power, this isn't just going to keep turning on and off again. If there is a problem, you'll be able to find it, troubleshoot it, fix it, and then turn this back on manually. Hitting back takes us back to the main menu again, where the next option is display. Inside this menu, you have brightness and contrast, which allow you to change those on the display, plus you have a third option, sleep. Sleep is the amount of time that the unit will stay illuminated before going into a sleep or standby mode to save power. Now during this mode, it'll continue to display your voltage and current. And once it's in sleep mode, you can easily wake it up by simply pressing either button. Finally, going back to the main menu, you have the system option. This menu gives you your firmware and hardware version for the battery monitor, plus it has a factory reset which will change all the settings back to default, as well as a restart option in case the unit ever needs to be rebooted. When an over voltage, under voltage, or overcurrent situation occurs, you can override the cutoff by hitting OK, just like this. If you get an over or under voltage warning while the unit's in sleep mode, it'll display the initials like this. Finally, there's also an LED status indicator as a handy backup, so you can just confirm that everything is working as it should. And that's how you can use all the functions on an Adventure King's battery monitor. It's so much more than just being able to check your voltage, battery capacity, and discharge and charging current. You can set it up exactly how you need it for your system. And because you can choose the settings, it's perfect if you ever upgrade your system or change it depending on the trip you're going on.